New team, fresh excitement, and a hopeful fan base. Everyone would love a 2009 Braun-style debut in F1 for Cadillac, but launching a team in modern-day F1 is a multi-year marathon without any training. So with this massive challenge for Cadillac come 2026, what can we realistically expect from them in their first year in F1? The reality for Cadillac is that they are taking on an absolutely massive task by joining F1 without buying an existing team. They have to build facilities, production lines, workflows, and hire staff all from the ground up. You can't really overstate how big of a challenge that is in today's F1, where teams are larger and more organized than ever before. Big teams like Ferrari, Red Bull, Mercedes run with 1,000 plus employees. Cadillac is starting in the 600 range with plans to hire more in the coming months and years. It'll take time just to hire that many people and then even more time to get them all working harmoniously. Formula One is a different beast from Cadillac's other motorsport programs. Starting with next to zero F1 knowledge or experience is going to be brutally hard, especially with brand new 2026 regulations landing at the same time. They won't be able to look at other teams' past success to use as blueprints for their first car. So what does Cadillac have going for them right now? Well, they're not going in completely blind. Their team principal, Graham Loudon, previously ran the Virgin/Marussia Formula One teams. Those teams were severely underfunded and not exactly a works outfit, but the experience still definitely matters. Their technical lead is Nick Chester, who has a long F1 history dating back to the mid-1990s. They've brought on Pat Simmons as an engineering consultant, and he has deep technical and leadership experience in Formula One. As an advisor and director, they do have 1978 world champion Mario Andretti, who also helps to add some credibility and high-level guidance to the team. Cadillac is also going to be starting with Ferrari engines, and they're also going to be using some other customer parts from Ferrari, such as the gearbox and potentially some other suspension components, but nothing to the extent that Haas did and still does. Some of those baseline customer parts will help to shorten the learning curve for Cadillac and give them a bit less to think about, but it still doesn't completely remove the mountain they have to climb. To me, the biggest challenge that Cadillac faces is the way they have structured their whole team. They have split their operations into 4 different main bases. They'll have their headquarters in Indiana, they'll have a power unit operations base in North Carolina, their GM technical center will be in Michigan, and they'll also have a UK base for the majority of race operations, particularly while the US facilities are still being built. Not much of that split really makes too much sense for the team, other than the fact that they really want to keep it as an American team with an American base, but particularly in year 1, that adds a ton of complexity. Not only are they splitting up the facility so much over a few continents like that, but they have to build everything from the ground up, and that's going to be very difficult for Cadillac. They have to build all of those facilities that I mentioned, they have to hire new employees, they have to build a new culture, build the production lines to actually build the F1 car, say nothing about engineering it, and they have to create all these new processes that are going to need to be up to F1 standard, and those processes are going to have to be created, tested, and iterated to on-track performance. Getting all of this synced is going to be a massive challenge for them. To give a little more context on how big of a challenge this is going to be for Cadillac, let's look at the most recent F1 team that was pretty much from the ground up in Formula One. To look for that inspiration, we can look at Haas, as I had mentioned earlier. They were the most recent new F1 team, and they really used the regulations to their advantage, and they took the vast majority of their parts from Ferrari. Literally, if I'm not mistaken, every single thing that they could under the regulations, they took from Ferrari, and they really continue to do that to this day. That helped Haas to be immediately pretty competitive right off the bat, because most of their car was a Ferrari. In contrary, Cadillac is partnering with Ferrari, and that will help with the parts that they are, but they are definitely not copying Haas's model at the Haas level of relationship that they had and Haas level of dependence that they have with Ferrari. So more of the heavy lifting is going to be falling on Cadillac. So with all of that, what can we realistically expect from Cadillac in 2026? With the F1 field being as close as it is nowadays, even scoring or fighting for for a single point is going to be near impossible for Cadillac in the first year. If they manage to snag a point, I think that would be a borderline miracle and would be a huge success for them. Some analysts, like Ed Straw at the race, have suggested that simply even qualifying within the 107% rule would be a meaningful early benchmark for the team. If you don't know, the 107% rule is a rule in F1 to snuff out any teams or drivers that are so off the pace that they aren't even close to being competitive. It states that a driver in Q1 must set a lap time within 107% of the fastest time of that session to be eligible for the race. Now, I don't think they'll be quite that slow that they'll be barely making that 107% threshold, but it will be a big uphill challenge for them. I think some sensible year one goals for Cadillac will be just to qualify both the cars, finish races, keep the DNFs as low as possible, and build a base of understanding across those split sites. They're going to really need to lean on the experience of Valtteri Bottas and Sergio Perez, and those drivers are going to be able to provide invaluable experience on how to run a proper F1 team. There's lots of things that are taken for granted in current F1 teams, like the first fire up of the car, first on-track running, production line fulfillments, implementing an upgrade. All of those really basic things that we don't think much about with current F1 teams are going to be big milestones for Cadillac when they do that for the first time. They truly are starting from basically zero. Because of that, I think we do need to keep our expectations low, even though it will be exciting to have a brand new team in F1. They're almost certainly not going to pull off a 2009 Braun style debut in Formula 1, but it's not too often that a new team comes into Formula 1, so it is exciting. Step one will be to get the cars on track, and then once they start building up that base of understanding, they can start focusing more on performance. Another example to show how big of a challenge this is going to be for Cadillac is comparing them to Audi. Since Audi is in the same 2026 conversation, it's only fair to compare the two. However, Audi is entering as a full works project by taking over an existing team of Sauber, and they're going to inherit a lot of F1 operations and infrastructure. Their challenge is going to be scaling up the existing team and building that new power unit. Cadillac's challenge is going to be a lot tougher at the start because they're building everything from the ground up themselves. So the bottom line is that Cadillac has credible people. I think they're making good, sensible decisions using customer parts to start and not immediately building their engine from scratch, and they have serious backing and long-term commitment from GM. 2026 is going to be about learning fast, finishing races, and tightening operations for the future. They have the desire and the potential to be a credible F1 team, but it's going to take a lot of time, almost certainly many years. If they can qualify for each race, limit the amount of DNFs that they have, and not be completely miles off the back, then I think that will be a win for them in their first year of F1. So what are your thoughts on Cadillac entering Formula 1 next year? Are you excited for them? How well do you think they're going to do in their first year? Let me know down in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts. Next video, I will dig a little deeper into what I think we can expect out of Audi in 2026 as well. If you like this video, give it a like and hit that subscribe button to see future F1 content, particularly that Audi video. Thank you all for tuning in, and I'll see you all in the next one.